Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are crime dramas. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 6. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. First and foremost, I'm going to start off with the Tyson and his dad storyline, just because obviously that's where the episode ends off. So, obviously because they're having a little parlay sit down with Bill, Chicky, and Dwight heading to Atlanta for the sit down. Tyson is, driving his dad around because the starter in the van is messed up. So he's driving his dad around to different jobs and stuff, and kind of getting to spend some time with his dad and kind of see what his dad does. And that interesting relationship where it's like, hey, this first guy, instead of getting paid, TC hooked him up with some of his chili, which turns out to be pretty good. But it's also just kind of an example of just who his dad is. It's like, yo, this is where I'm from. It's like, yo, this is North Tulsa. It's like, yeah, this is where he's like, I moved here when I was 3, and this is where I came from. So it's like, it's a, it just showcases his dad. And obviously a lot of who his dad is kind of reminds me, maybe the argument could be like, yo, this is any black father, an older black father, because my dad's kind of got that energy of right, you know your neighbors, you got that communication. I always talk about it all the time, my dad is a very the polar opposite of me. I'm a very introverted person. I keep to myself. My dad talks to everybody, and he fosters relationships like that. He likes to talk with people like he's on a good term basis with people. My dad's not in the same field of business. My dad's he's a truck driver, but he also does farming on the side. It's kind of a family business. So it's interesting. Just once again, just little elements of it. Just kind of reminds me of Tyson and his dad. Just kind of remind me of me and my own father. Our dynamic in our relationship. It's not a 1-to-1, but just when you spend time together, because it's not like I see my dad that often. Either way, tangents and all that aside, it is this situation of the moment the white car was following him, I was like, that's not good. I was like, that's not good at all. And Tyson picked up on it. He noticed it the first time, kind of let it go. Twice is a pattern. 3 times is, fit. But it didn't come up a third time. But he noticed it the second time, but they drove in a different direction. I was like, and later on when Tyson is talking to Dwight, he's like, oh, I want to give this truck, the Navigator, to my dad. I was like, do not do that. Because my immediate thought was, they're going to hit the Navigator thinking it's Dwight. They're going to think it's Dwight in it, when in actuality it's going to be your father. So I wasn't fully expecting the ending to be what it is, but I figured maybe later on it would turn into that, because he's strolling around. They think they're following Dwight, and they end up trying to kill him. I thought that's where that was going to go. It's kind of a moot point, because it's Dwight's vehicle, so they want to set an example. Not unless they assume that, I don't know, they probably didn't check. They were watching, so they probably saw Tyson and his dad out of the vehicle, but it's they probably thought this is still sending an example, because this is connected to Dwight, and we're making an example out of this situation. It's so heartbreaking. Like I said, the moment Tyson wanted to get his dad the Navigator, I was like, oh god, it's a beautiful moment. Him telling Dwight, hey, I want to take my money. I don't want you to pay for it. I want to take my own money and pay for it. I want to do something nice for my dad, because he'd never do anything nice for himself. He's always been someone's like, hey, especially that conversation of, it's not always about price, and it sucks. And I've been talking about this up. I was like, especially the past couple episodes, because Tyson wanted to lean and be like, yo, I'm a gangster, I got this. Especially when they dealt with Bill's guy the way they did, and Tyson wanted to roll with it. The next episode, he tried to pretend like he's okay. I knew it was going to catch up to him eventually, and that's always the sad thing. It's never you directly who pays the price. It's always the people closest to you. That's how this game works, sadly. And I even said it at the time. This is kind of spoilers for Mayor Kingstown, but I brought it up a couple episodes ago. I was like, I don't want Tyson's dad to die, because that would suck, because Michael Beach's character in Michael Beach being the actor who plays Tyson's dad, his character in Mayor Kingstown, once again, spoilers, died last season. So this most recent season, season 3. So I was like, oh, it would suck if that was the case. But I knew that that's the direction they were going to go. So yeah, they placed a bomb in the vehicle, and just didn't see it coming. Now the big question becomes, obviously Tyson is going to be like, yo, I want my get back, especially because he had brought it up to Dwight, like, yo, we need to hit back. He's going to be extra motivated that we need to hit back. Now the question becomes, who do we hit back? There's multiple people this could be. Now it's not New York. It wasn't Chicky and them. This was either Jackie and his people or this was Bill. Bill kind of made it clear. We'll circle back to it, but he was like, "Oh, we got screwed out of the deal. Nah, fuck that." I don't think he struck back in this capacity. In his mind, he'd be in his right to do that just because it's like, hey, you kill one of my guys. I have to look at his wife every day, knowing like, okay, we're getting this deal, but it's like, it's pales in comparison to what we lost the price, you know? So yes. But Jackie also made it pretty clear that it's like, right, no half measures when he was talking to Cal. So this isn't Cal. This is... I could definitely see this more so being Jackie in them rather than it being Bill, but they leave it open and ended enough where it's like it could be anyone, but I think ultimately it's going to end up being Bill. I don't think it's Cal, because Cal, like, yeah, he strikes, he wants to like beat up, like he's fine with like Jackie's people beating up Bodhi in them last episode, but like the moment because like, yeah, those thieves like 2 episodes ago or whatever that got killed, and Cal's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, he wants to set an example. He'll probably like beat someone up and threaten them. Killing's a whole other ballpark, but it's like, yeah, these are the people you're in business with. So I'm leaning towards thinking it's Jackie and them just trying to make a statement, and it's like, yeah, Cal is going to be held responsible because these are people he's working with. So there is no differentiation between I'm going after these people because they're connected to you, Cal. I'm going to burn you to the ground too. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm also curious to see how Tyson's family feels, because his dad was the biggest opponent to like him working for Dwight and not wanting anything to do with it, and his work with Dwight being the reason why Tyson's dad died. Like, I could see that like being an issue for his mom and his siblings. So it could cause a rift and lead to some stuff, because I mean, that in itself could be the not deciding factor, but a major component to fueling his rage, of his guilt, maybe some resentment from his family. Like I said, his dad was the one that was against it the most. His mom was perfectly fine with Dwight to some extent, but I don't know if it's a thing of she wasn't quite aware of what Dwight was mixed up, you know. So we'll see how that all plays out, next episode. Another element, kind of a smaller element to the episode, is Armand finding out about the Cal of it all, when Bodhi's like, yeah, some guys like that worked for Thrasher, and now... So like, Armand knew he was selling information to Cal, but he probably thought like Cal was going to like try and do what he did and try to buy out what Dwight was doing with the wind farms and stuff. He probably figured you handle things on that front because you're a businessman, but had no idea like, oh, you'd go through the trouble of sending people to beat people up. He's like, yeah, I'm not down for that, you know, because he's also saying like, you using that information a certain way is fine, but when you do something like that could blow back on me, especially if Dwight finds out I sold you out. I mean, Dwight already kind of threatened me beforehand, and we were kind of in not a copacetic place, but kind of like we have our deal where I pay to him, but it's like, yeah, this would have been crossing the line. And Cal made himself pretty clear where he's like, I own you. Like, are you an idiot? Are you a child? You must be stupid, because this was never going to be a quid pro quo situation. I paid you this money. Like, would you doubt like there wouldn't be a price to pay? It's like, nothing in this world comes for free. There's always going to be an asterisk. There's always going to be a stipulation. So never show up here again, or I'm going to cut out your tongue and I'm going to show it to your children, you know? So once again, Neil McDonough can do, like, the thing is, he has this calm scariness about him where he can be so calm and sinister. He does it so damn well. But yeah, so I'm like, you kind of, I think the argument could also be like, yeah, he's kind of a rough and tumble person, but he is also all talk, because he does seem like he doesn't flow the way Jackie does. I mean, once again, you're talking like triad versus just some like unhinged businessman, you know. Triad's going to probably beat you with, like, when it comes to brutalness, versus like this guy being like, oh, I'm a threat, you know, has sent people to beat you up. It's like, yeah, you know, we'll see. I'm curious to see what Armand does in the end. I mean, I was about to say, like, can you really, well, the money's already been paid and you've already done stuff with it, so because I was wondering if there was going to be something to the money, like there's something in it that he could use to blackmail Armand. It's like, I guess the information of knowing like, hey, he could tell Dwight that you're a traitor maybe that's all the blackmail he needs of like, oh, like you kind of, it's like other than, but I guess like other than a threat to your life and your well-being, it's the other element to the extortion slash blackmail of it all. I guess it's kind of, how about to say like other than that, it's like, that's why I thought there had to be some secret to the money. Like there's something behind the money that would make it traceable, and like, it's like, oh, this was some dirty money we used. So, like, to protect yourself from the backlash of what this money could be connected to, you have to work for us. But like I said, I think just the threat of, hey, you don't want Dwight to know, and also the threat of we can hurt you. You don't want to, be on our bad side. So, like I said, we'll see where the whole Armand of it all goes. We also have Joanne continuing her business with Even Higher Place, Bodie and them, where she's coming up, for one, dropping off food and leaving snacks for the customers and stuff. But also she has her ideas of kind of like kind of handling like a website and like selling CBD like through like websites and stuff like that. It's like, right, as long as we stay a certain measure, because she, it seems like she's bringing a lot of great ideas to the business and kind of expanding upon it. So we'll see where things kind of go on that front. Just kind of a small update on that front. But, she's getting more mixed up in Dwight's businesses. And this is a legit business, but it's still tied to Dwight. So anything's up for, you even heard Bodie himself. He's like, yeah, this is the cost of being in business of Dwight Manfredi. And it's like, that's the kind of the point. So interesting, too, because this ties into also Tina as well, because she wants a gun just to feel protected. And Dwight's not too much of a fan of it. I get it. Because he's like, yeah, she needs protection, I'll protect her. But it's like, yeah, she won't have protection 24 hours and 24 hours a day. And also it makes her feel comfortable being like, if the situation calls for it, I can protect the kids. So who ends up helping her out? Mitch, which I do love really quickly. First and foremost, I thought they were so adorable together when Mitch was teaching her to shoot. And I was like, feels like we're potentially going to set up something there. I think there might have been a previous episode where I was like, is there something there? But I don't know. This episode really kind of sets it up in like the fun they were having and stuff. I was like, oh, there's something there. And especially when Mitch was like, oh yeah, she's a natural. Yeah, she's a beautiful young woman. And then like Dwight turned around, but then he got called by Tyson, so he walked away. But it was like, he was about to say something where it's just like, Mitch probably didn't think about it at the time. It's like, yo, this is the boss man's daughter. You probably didn't realize how like, yo, you kind of crossed the line saying that. You should have been like, yeah, she's a lovely young woman. That probably still would have been crossing the line, but saying beautiful, lovely, it's all the same, but I think it comes off a little different. Hey, she's a lovely person, yada, 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 versus she's a beautiful woman. It's like, yo, you're looking at my daughter like that? So, Dwight can feel a certain way about it. So he likes Mitch, but it's like, yo, that's still his princess. That's his, that'll always be his little girl. So we'll see what ends up happening from that. Like I said, maybe Mitch didn't even think about it, where it's just like, oh yeah, I recognize her as pretty and nothing's going to happen, but it definitely feels like something is going to happen, and had to come to terms with like, hey, this is your friend and business partner, Mitch, and how that coalesces with, hey, this is my daughter. So we'll see on that front. But obviously the main crux of the episode revolves around the deal that's being set up too. So I love the whole Goody not liking flying thing. And I love that it's like, yeah, he's like, I prefer trains. He's like, yeah, like the 1950s, like people be really well dressed and stuff like that. He's like, I watch movies of like train stuff like that. And you had Mitch telling him a story of like, oh yeah, this is how he told this whole story about a train, like two trains like crashing each other full speed, and it's like, yeah, this one person, the remains of their head went flying a certain amount of time. He's like, oh, I probably shouldn't be telling you this story, even though you were just bringing up this whole point about being like not too good with flying on planes. I was like, I love that. I was like, that's such a dick move on Mitch's part. He wasn't thinking. But either way, you had that situation. You had Chicky getting stopped at the airport because he forgot his ankle gun. And you could tell Vince being, looking at the opportunity as it is. He's like, oh, come on. But he's also kind of like, oh, well, this puts me in a position where I got to go still see this deal through. But also, we know he looks at Chicky a certain way because he doesn't know for sure, but he doesn't know, but he knows that Chicky had something to do with Pete's death, that he killed Pete. So I'm sure a little bit of that kind of played a role in it. So ultimately, because of that, when it came down to it, New York walked away the shittiest in that situation. Kansas City's kind of getting some stuff because of this, like some stuff related to the weed. Apparently New York is going to be giving him some of like the Ozempic shipments and stuff like that. So that's the only contribution New York is having, because they're trying to get some kickback from Dwight, but Dwight's like, nah, son, we're not doing that. New York kind of cast me out here. I was kind of banished here, and they expect something from me. He's like, no, they left me out here to die, so I ended up making something of myself. I built something. He was kind of bringing this whole point up to Bill. When he kept referencing the weed and stuff like that, I thought that was in reference to him constantly trying to bring up the Cal of it all, because I don't think he knows that Cal and Bill are connected. He might know, but that's why I kept thinking he kept bringing it up. But he's like, right, I'm in the weed business. I'm going to cut you in on it. Which we know he had some dealings with the weed business because him and Cal were partners. But he kind of like bought his share. Like he bought his share out of that. So that's what I thought he was in reference to. I thought he was trying to get Bill to bring up Cal so he could be like, yo, that's kind of our issue. But like I said, I don't think he knows. He knows the district attorney during his case was connected to Cal, but I don't think he knows it. That's why Bill's on his radar, because he's even bringing up the point, like, did you really have any stake or anything in Tulsa? He's like, no, you didn't. He's like, you didn't even know Tulsa existed until you heard about me. That's the only reason why you're paying attention to Tulsa now. So, like I said, they struck their deal, but Bill's reneging on it a little bit. And like I said, I don't think he's made his move yet. Once again, we could always find out that, like I said, they wanted to make you think, well, it's unclear whether it was Jackie or whether it was Bill that struck when it came to killing Tyson's dad. But like I said, my money's still on Jackie. But when it comes to Bill, like if that's the case, Bill hasn't made his move yet against Dwight, if that is in fact the case. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this all shakes up and how this all plays out. I mean, especially because Chicky was not too happy with Vince. He was like, yo, like, you're not the boss. You might be a captain, but you're not the boss. You shouldn't have been like talking on my behalf. But I say so because he's like, you're an idiot. And it's just like, yeah, but I'm not the idiot that brought a gun to an airport. And it's like, yeah, Chicky was not too happy about it. Once again, Vince has kind of got no love for Chicky. It's like, I have to respect you because you're the boss, but I don't have the proof, but I know you killed Pete. So it's like, and plus also he's continuously being disrespected. Chicky's gonna kill him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Vince is going to try to make a move against Chicky and Chicky's going to like counter him and kill him or what. But it's not going to go Vince's way if he tries to gun for Chicky. But we'll see if that ends up being the route he goes. But yeah, like that's the problem. There's only so much disrespect you can take before you snap. And that's kind of what happened with Dwight. Well, Dwight was disrespected enough that he's like, yo, Tulsa's mine. I'm not giving anything back to New York, especially with everything that's going on, like them convincing Bill to try and cap Dwight. So like I said, we'll have to wait to see how this all plays out. But really that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.